Hello and welcome. You're watching Newscentre and I'm Parikshit Luthra. The Cabinet has approved a 7,280 crore rupee scheme to promote the domestic manufacturing of rare earth permanent magnets. The initiative aims to build an annual production capacity of up to 6,000 metric tons. Designed with a validity of 7 years, the scheme comprises sales-linked incentives of 6,450 crore rupees on sales for 5 years, a capital subsidy of 750 crore rupees for setting up manufacturing facilities in 2 years. The total capacity will be allocated to 5 beneficiaries through a global competitive bidding process. Each beneficiary will be allotted up to 1,200 metric tons per annum of capacity. The move comes amid China's export curbs on rare earths, which are crucial for manufacturing electric vehicles, electronics, wind energy, defense equipment. This new scheme could help meet the growing demand in India, as rare earth magnet consumption is expected to double in the next 5 years.
भारत की रिक्वायरमेंट लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है परमानेंट मैग्नेट की, और परमानेंट मैग्नेट को भारत में मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए आज एक रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स स्कीम REPM स्कीम अप्रूव हुई है कैबिनेट में। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अप्रूव किया इसको। इसमें फोकस रहेगा एंड टू एंड कंप्लीट इंटीग्रेटेड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सिस्टम बने, भारत में integrated manufacturing facility bane.
And joining us to discuss the significance of the scheme is Vinny Mehta, Director General at the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association, Siddharth Nautiyal, Head of Strategy and New Initiatives at Loham, a lithium-ion battery recycling company, and Saurabh Agarwal, partner with EY India. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us right now. Siddharth Nautiyal, if I can come to you first. The incentives under this scheme: a capital subsidy of 750 crore, a sales incentive of 6,450 crore for the industry. 5 beneficiaries in total will get incentives. Is this really enough to help set up an ecosystem of manufacturing rare earth magnets in the country? And will there be enough domestic demand?
I think this is an excellent start. India needs rare earth permanent magnets. We import pretty much all the magnets that we use today. And that is actually not a good situation for us to have at all from a strategic, geopolitical, and risk point of view. So to de-risk that, this I think is an excellent scheme that the government has come up with. It's in line with the National Critical Minerals Mission that was announced, for which a budget allocation of 34,000 crore rupees was made earlier this year. And this will be a great scheme to move things forward. India's demand of permanent magnets is likely to double in the next 5 years or so. Today, all that we use in terms of permanent magnets is imported, mostly from China. And we've seen that that is a risk that our country cannot take today, because if we give so much power to one country, the ability to switch on and off exports is a risk that we...
All right, I believe we're losing that link with Siddharth Nautiyal. We'll try and get him back. But let me take that question to Vinny Mehta at this point. Vinny Mehta, we saw the Chinese government easing restrictions of rare earth magnet licenses. Have those rare earth magnet consignments started coming in to India? Have more companies started getting licenses? Or is there a status quo?
So it's sort of a blow hot, blow cold. We had just about 4 or 5 odd companies get license, and this is about 3 weeks ago, and thereafter there have been no new licenses. So as Nautiyal said, that if you are overtly dependent on a particular economy, then they can close the tap and you could be in trouble. So in that sense, this is a really very, very welcome step, and we much appreciate. We have been working very closely with the Ministry of Heavy Industries on this, and I'm hopeful this will really help the country become self-reliant, at least in case where there is manufacturing of heavy rare earth magnets required, yes.
Right. So you're saying post-issuance of licenses for about 4 to 5 companies, you've not heard of consignments coming in or other companies getting licenses?
Over 50 companies who applied for the licenses, and as I said, just about 4 or 5 of them have gotten them, and there's been no movement beyond this. Yeah.
Right. Let me also get in our other guest right now. We have Saurabh Agarwal, partner with EY India. Saurabh, what will be critical in terms of achieving success with this scheme and having a domestic ecosystem? Currently, yes, India has rare earth minerals as resources, but we don't have refining capacity. What will it take, as per your analysis, to set up that refining capacity? And we're talking about a 7-year horizon right now, 2 years to set up factory, 5 years for incentives to be given. So in the next 2 years, will we have an ecosystem up and running where these permanent rare earth magnets will be made?
So, Parikshit, if we have to put a 3-step process, there is an upstream, followed by a midstream, and then a downstream. If you look at as far as upstream is concerned, which is rare earth oxide is concerned, both Department of Atomic Energy and IREL in India have been working on this particular space. India is amongst one of the 5th largest rare earth, you can say, reservoir, which we have across the globe. The midstream is something which is the subsequent processing activity is not there. And downstream, of course, is BLDC motor, all these things which goes into renewable energy devices, etc. That downstream also exists. I think the larger problem was always midstream. And of course, when I see the integrated word being used, it appears that, and of course, the final document has to come out, it appears that it's a combination of upstream and downstream, which will be looked as an integrated policy when it comes to this particular PLI scheme. Now, sometimes when I look at and when I read through the press release, which got released just now, it is appearing that it will be like a RFP, which will be more of a similar type of a tender, which happened in case of advanced chemistry cell. Now, what it needs to be looked into is how lucrative the policy is, what are the eligibility conditions for the same with respect to net worth criteria, etc. How much is the incentive being offered? So I did a rough maths. It is coming somewhere around 2,150 rupees per kg. That's like an average. But of course, in the first year, it will be higher. Second year, it will go down. Third year, it will. So it's over a period of time, it will go down subsequently, like it happened in case of a battery PLI scheme as well. Now, therefore, the overall capacity which India expects, or the demand which India expects, is around 8,230 metric ton by 2030. That is what we all have been saying. 6,000 metric ton is a right approach which the government is taking. The only thing is 2 years is the gestation period. What needs to be looked into is this is a capital intensive industry. I think the government was kind enough to grant a combination of hybrid scheme, which is a capital subsidy plus a turnover linked incentive scheme as a part of this particular RFP document, whatever I can see where the bidding will happen. Next thing which government needs to bring in, which Ministry of Finance needs to work on, along with Ministry of Heavy Industries, is to bring in a BCD exemption on import of any capital goods which are required for setting up of this rare earth manufacturing in India. I think all these things put together integratedly, and of course, some bit of technology being there, which can be sourced from outside India, as well as we can rely upon our own scientists. I think overall, it's a great step by the Indian government. While 2 years is a tough timeline, but appears it will be met if our industry works together with the government.
Right. Let me also go to Siddharth Nautiyal now. Siddharth, when it comes to Loham, give us a sense of whether Loham as a company, as a private entity, is considering refining of rare earth magnets. What stage are your plans at? Would you be interested in investing or applying for this scheme by the government?
Absolutely. So we are today India's largest critical minerals producer, and rare earth magnets is a very important part of our roadmap. In fact, around a couple of weeks back, we announced that we'd be setting up a new integrated rare earth oxide to permanent magnet facility in UP to be coming up over the next couple of years. We believe this announcement from the government of India is extremely timely. It will encourage us and many others like us to set up capacity. We will certainly be evaluating this announcement more closely. It just came out a few hours back, as you know. But we believe it's a positive announcement and will spur us certainly and many others like us to do more and invest more.
Right. Vinny Mehta, could you give us a sense of within the automotive industry, when the consultations were on, when the Secretary Heavy Industries was speaking to various stakeholders, including those from ACMA, from the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, what's the interest within automobile companies? Do they want to set up manufacturing plants to make rare earth magnets in the country? Or do they believe that despite these incentives, capital subsidy and also turnover incentives, it may still be easier and cheaper to import?
So you look differently. I think one, there's a strategic intent to be self-reliant, and as I said, you don't want anybody to be switching off the tap. And that's why the government and ACMA believes in localization as much as we can. I sort of am very, very hopeful that there'll be several of the ACMA members who would come forward for applying for this particular scheme. And I'm sure they're waiting for more details on the document to do the mathematics. Well, we do hope that the incentives will be sufficient enough, even if China, which is now restricting export of these items, sort of says that, okay, you can sort of, have them imported to your country without any bars, and that country can play havoc by dropping prices. So we believe that the industry will work towards a model that secures itself from this kind of a risk. And I'm hopeful that the industry and the government will work together on this to make sure that the supply chain disruption are minimal. Yeah.
Right. Let me get in Saurabh Agarwal once again. Saurabh, when it comes to the kind of rare earth minerals and magnets that we need, now there are 10 or 15 kinds of rare earth minerals. Would you say that there are 4 to 5 rare earth categories that we need to focus on more? The applications for which we would need those minerals and magnets the most, and which will be most important for our national security? Do you think the scheme has any of those contours and specifications?
So, Parikshit, so first, in my view, there are around 17 types of rare earths which are there. Now, there are different grades of rare earth magnet which comes into picture. And based on each grade of these rare earth magnets, the price changes. Now, what is there in the scheme is something which no one knows as of now, because the RFP is still not out. So therefore, I cannot comment upon what's there in the scheme, but I'm sure that the government would have surely looked into that what is the demand which is likely to come into various sectors. So if I have to talk about sectors, electric vehicles, industrial motors for different applications, BLDC fans, smartphones and computers, solar powered pumps, elevator motors and escalator motors, wind turbine, other applications in consumer electronics. So see, these are type of applications where a rare earth is being used. Looking into demand of these particular applications over a period of time from 2035 or 25 to 2030, I am sure that when we look into the fine prints of the RFP, which will be rolled out to the relevant bidders, I think we'll get more insights around it. I am sure government would have taken care of the same, and accordingly, the incentives will also undergo a change depending upon the grade of the rare earth.
All right. My final question to Vinny Mehta at this point. Vinny Mehta, what would be your recommendation to the government now? How is the industry faring at this juncture? Companies are coming up with ferrite motors. They're trying to come up with models which require low rare earth magnets. Some are trying to find supply chains in other countries. How is the industry managing currently? And is there any recommendation to the government now?
No, I think the industry is a very, very resilient industry, and I myself get surprised that they come up with solutions when we are literally pushed up to the wall. But in this particular case, this has been one of our recommendations. ACMA and SAM have worked very closely with the government of India, the MHI, on this particular scheme. And one step at a time, I think the only thing is that we need to see how we can hasten the gestation period, You cannot sort of hasten a childbirth, but in this particular case, we have to work on a war footing, because what if there is no supply for next 2 years? We've been able to willy-nilly manage somehow at this juncture. But as Saurabh said, the permanent magnets are used so ubiquitously in the vehicle industry. A passenger car uses it in 30 applications.
Right.
The two-wheelers use them, the commercial vehicle uses it, the aerospace, the defense. Everybody has been using them so ubiquitously. So we need to be sort of mindful of this, and we need to really be self-reliant in this particular aspect. So full marks to the government.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Vinny Mehta, Siddharth Nautiyal, Saurabh Agarwal, for joining us on the program. It's time for a short break, but coming up on the other side, a glimpse into Bajaj Auto's e-rickshaw Ricky brand and India's first Tesla center in Gurugram. Stay tuned for that and much more.